Did you ever ask yourself why Casca was so devoted to Griffith? In some ways, the answer seems obvious. Griffith saved Casca from a life of horrifying slavery when she was a child, and he allowed her to join his band of soldiers because he could see her capacity to fight. So there was a real sense in which Casca owed Griffith her life, and this was initially the only reason she required to give herself to his service. But as the years passed, the reason for Casca's devotion would change, and that's because her idea of Griffith would change, and she would realize that he isn't the hero that he initially appeared to be. For Griffith projected a kind of dazzling confidence into the world, which gave him an aura of heroic invulnerability, and which made it seem to all who served him that he was destined for greater things. But Casca was unique amongst all of Griffith's soldiers, because she had learned to see through this confidence. She understood that it was a facade, and it concealed a man of fear and weakness, who was tortured by his own responsibility for all the death that he had brought into the world. And this mask of untroubled confidence that Griffith outwardly projected was a lie that he told to himself no less than other people. And Casca would later explain this insight to Guts when she told him that Griffith isn't actually strong, but instead he's the kind of man who has to make himself strong. And that was the purpose of his lies. He had to tell himself a story that could ease the heavy burden of his dreams. And so he made himself believe that he was not responsible for all the many dead who died in his name, because they freely chose to serve him. And anyways, they got the death that they deserved because they clung to the dreams of a greater man than they. Casca understood that these were lies that Griffith told himself to make himself strong, and it was precisely their falsehood that inspired Casca's devotion to his cause. For they revealed a weakness in her hero, and it was precisely his weakness that gave Casca a purpose as his servant. It meant that Griffith needed Casca just as much as Casca needed Griffith, because he did not have the strength to bear the burden of his lies without her help. Or such at least is the story Casca told herself.